Hi everyone, welcome back to Plum Mashable. So I've seen a bunch of people ask on Facebook how to use this cute die cut from Planners Anonymous, so I thought I'd show you a way to do that. So let's jump straight in. Okay, so from the second I saw this, I had to make a flipper and I had to make a shaker. It feels like forever since I've made a shaker, so I'm very excited to give this a go. So I'm going to use this little die cut. But what I'm going to do is, instead of folding this over, which is what it's sort of supposed to do, I'm going to cut it in half and then turn it over. So that'll make sense in a sec. Okay, so I'm going to grab my paper trimmer. I'm just going to use my little one. I'm going to line this up. So this actually has perforated lines down it. So you could tear this. I'm just cutting it because I want it to be a sort of crisp edge. And then it's still got fluffies. So we're going to fix the fluffies. So then this is going to sit on top of that, raised up obviously, and then it'll have some shaker bits in the middle. But because I'm me and I'm crazy, it also needs to have a little tab to be able to put this in my planner. So to do that, I'm just trying to decide if I'm going to mount it on, no, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to mount it on some white cardboard. But I'm going to stick some of this washi tape down the side because it's just so beautiful. So this technically runs horizontal, but I think it will look really nice running vertical anyway. So I'm going to do that. So I'm going to start off with putting this down onto the cardboard. Just working out sort of where I want my tab, or how wide I want my tab. Actually. I'm going to cut it to height first, and then I can work out where I want the tab to go. So I'm going to grab a pencil and mark that little line and just trim that. So again, I'm going to have fluffies, so I need to fix them. Then I'm going to grab my tab punch board in, and I'm just going to do the side tabs on here first. The only downside to that is it then becomes harder to put the washi down. So we'll do the washi first and then we'll put the side tabs. So I'm just laying that down right on the edge. And I think that's how wide I want my tab. So I'm only going to just put one piece of washi on there. And then I need to decide what I'm going to do with the back, because you are going to see the back. Grabbing my paper pad out. Excuse Ryan dying. I'm really tempted to just use this whole bit of paper. It's just so gorgeous and it will really look cool behind this. Yeah, I'm gonna. So, I'm gonna work out first that this is gonna sit right there, and just mark that and cut that bit to size, because then we can cut the piece of paper to size and we'll waste as minimal of it as we can. I'm also just going to give my little Polaroid a bit of a rub because I got a little bit of a line on it. Alright, so I need to work out where I want this to go. It's going to sit that way. I really love that top corner. I think it's so cute. But I want the French panny. No, I'll have the... My only problem with pattern paper, I want to use the bit in the middle. Hold on. I'm going to use this bit over here. It still is in the middle, I'm aware, but I'm just marking out in pencil where that is. Always a little bit more cautious with Planners Anonymous papers than with any other kind of paper. I'm going to leave the bottom at the moment just so that I make sure I've got this the right size. So that sits that way and then it flips over. It's got this bit. I have cut it to size, woohoo. Just going to get rid of the flops on the top. I made a joke about my nephew before and now I can't stop giggling every time I say fluffy, so please excuse me if I burst into uncontrollable giggles. My nephew calls farts fluffies, and now he said it, I can't unthink it. So I'm just grabbing some glue tape and just going to go to town on this side. And then we can stick this down. So going that way, yes we are. Oops. And then we'll cut off the edge at the bottom, we'll cut off the bottom afterwards. Now if I've got a little bit of overhang, that's okay, because I can always trim it off. There we go. It's not quite. I'm just going to trim off the excess all around the outside. I don't mind that it's not completely square either, because we're obviously sticking something else to it. It'll kind of hide that. Alright. So we've got our little flamingo on the back. Now we can punch our tab, which feels like a long time since we decided we were going to do that. Now, because I'm going through 2 pieces of cardboard and some washi tape here, I'm going to have to push really hard to get that nice clean little tab. There we go. There's our tab, which means we are all good to start assembling our shaker. Alright, so we need to put the little Polaroid just there. Oh, that looks so cool up against that. So this part's really simple. This is just putting it on with glue tape. And I'm just butting the edge up against the washi. It's a pretty small kind of lip, but it is there. There we go. And then I'm just trying to decide if I want to use the acetate that came in the kit, which looks like this. Oops, got stickers stuck to it. And paper stuck to it. If I want to use the acetate that came with, or if I want to use, because I think it would look cool and it kind of adds a bit of dimension and some extra lines. Yeah, I do. I want to use that acetate. Righto. Or you could just use clear, because obviously that's such a pretty picture. You don't necessarily want to hide that, but I think it'll look cool with this one. So I really hate cutting this acetate because I feel like I'm wasting it. So I'm gonna try and cut as little of it as I have to. So I'm just grabbing a pen that's going to give me some kind of mark on here. I'm just trying to find the right spot because you want it to be a really nice sort of pattern in the front. So I think just there. So I'm just cutting this a little bit smaller than where my line was. And then that sits on there, just like that. So I'm just grabbing a bit of craft cardboard here that's a bit of scrap just to help me out. So I'm just going to put glue tape all around the outside here. So this is just something I like to do before I stick the acetate down, which is just give it a rub with a clean tissue. It's just to get off anything that might be stuck, because sort of once it's down you can't do anything about it. And stick that down. Okay, so now we've got to make our little well for putting these in. So that's what it's going to look like, obviously a little bit more up. So we need to put the well. So to do that I'm going to be using foam tape. You could use it with bunches of cardboard all kind of leaned up. I just found when I was playing with it that was really difficult. So I'm not going to worry about that. We definitely need to be making a pretty solid, depends on what kind of shaker bits or glitter bits you put in the middle. If you're going to put something really intricate, then making sure that this is 100% sort of sealed up is your #1 priority. If you're not, if you're putting sort of more chunky stuff, you're actually okay to kind of leave, not leave holes, but you don't need quite as much of a solid kind of well bit. So for the side bits, we're going to have to cut these, cut the foam tape in half. That's actually really easy to do just with a craft knife, as long as you don't lose the lid on the craft knife, which I just did. Just grab your knife and a ruler and a craft knife and just cut that straight down the middle, and then you can just build that up. And because you've already got the sort of picture frame, you already know how or where the foam tape needs to sit. It's kind of a bit of an added bonus to using this. Whoops, it stuck to me. I always find that, especially with this foam tape, the backing never stays on once I've cut it, so it's okay to sort of take it off and just use tweezers instead. Okay, so I'm just going to really quickly put that fully down, but just have a look and see what that looks like. Dot there. I'm just trying to decide if I want this to go double height, which is really easy to do. Actually, I will, because it's really easy to do. So I just used a little bit of the boo-boo bit of foam tape that I cut before. So the only other thing I'm going to do before I put this all together, other than put the sequins in the middle, because I just about forgot about that, I'm just going to grab my eraser and just on the acetate bit, I'm just going to give it a rub to get rid of all the glue dots. I don't know what it is about that eraser in particular, but it doesn't like me when it comes to rubbing off glue dots. There we go. So all I'm doing is just getting off the sticky on this side, so that, and this will be covered up anyway, but it just gives it one less thing to stick to. And the other tiny little trick I'm going to do before we put the sequins is I'm going to grab some of my, this is just powder from a powder tool, and I'm just rubbing that along the side of the foam tape. So all that's doing is taking away the stickiness on the inside, and that way there's not anything for the sequins or glitter or whatever we're putting in here to stick to. And it makes it smell like babies. Okay, so now we get to fill the little well up. So in front of me I have my holiday home sequins, my seaside sequins, and I also have just some normal sequins. I'm just trying to decide what I want to put in here. I think holiday home fits this better. I'm just going to make sure I don't put any of the red ones in there. Always put the lid back on your sequins before you finish up, because otherwise they end up everywhere. So then we get to put our little lid back on. So always make sure nothing's stuck to this. That down. There we go. Give it a nice little rub all around the outside to make sure that's stuck. And there we have, and yes, nothing's sticking to the sides. There we have our little shaker. So it is reasonably simple. It's not complicated. It just kind of takes a little while. But that has got just enough in there to really give you that movement, but you can still see the photo or the picture behind it. I just think it's got this really cool little finish to it. So I'll probably make that into a pocket. I'll probably sort of stick something on the back. But that's how I make my little shakers. There are lots of ways to make shakers, but this is my favourite way, probably just with the foam tape. It's really simple. You can build it up as high as you like, and it just gives such a great finish. So that is it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Please give it a thumbs up if you did, and don't forget to be subscribed to my channel so you don't miss any future videos from me. Don't forget you can use my discount code for your first box of Planners Anonymous. It is Plum Mashable, all caps, and you can use that and it'll get you 10% off. I hope you guys have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you again in my next video. Sending lots of huggles. Bye.